Okay, okay, now we're cooking. Now we cooking. Lions, episode 3 of Snowfall is here. Give you my thoughts and reactions right after the jump. Hello, everyone. Terrence here with Hollywood Already Did It. If you haven't already, go ahead and comment, like, share, subscribe to the channel, ring that bell below anytime we have something. You will be among the first to know. Episode 3, called Lions. We're getting to the nitty gritty here. I love it when the show knows it has 10 episodes. It's like, look, we gotta start. We gotta start getting into it. We're gonna stop playing around. This episode called Lions, and Franklin said it so much in this episode. Lions sometimes eat their young, and so we get a lot of posture in this episode. Factions are starting to make their way, and what we learn is that, and I sort of mentioned this in the last episode, the issue that sort of has taken place is that Franklin is still the head, but he sort of has these triangles that come from him. Leon is a part of this. Louis and Uncle Jerome are another part of this, and so they all still answer to Franklin. But it has seemed like just in the way that she does things, the way she operates, while she does answer to him, she wants to be more on the level. She wants to be more the lion at the table as opposed to the cub that follows at the teat of the lion. So that's what you get a lot of this, a lot of jockeying and posturing. So the episode starts with Franklin bringing to the team Louis, Jerome, Leon, all of them. He brings it to them that Teddy is back in town. He tells them to call him Teddy, but he just lets them be known that he is back. And immediately Louis asks questions like, "Well, hold on, does that affect our price?" And two, more importantly, uh, did you ask him about your father? And he's like, I didn't. Kind of took me off guard, but I'll get there. I'll get there. They asked mainly about the price, and pricing is like, nah, pricing ain't changed. He's not holding up Brady's thing. This is the deal that we've got. And she's like, well, hold on. We've made assurances. We've made promises. We can't go back on those promises. Frank's like, handle that. You made those promises. You got to unmake them promises. Go do your thing. Franklin's very much of the mindset in his brain is like, I didn't make those promises. I'm the lead of the table. I didn't make those promises, so I don't have to honor them. You got yourself into some shit, so get yourself out of that shit. That's how he's operating. And so that's what Louis and Jerome for this entire episode is trying to sort of undo. I always love when these episodes give you clips and whatnot of characters that have not been around for some time, because you know that they're going to be coming back. So Scully showing up in that premiere is like, oh, we about to get some crazy biblical shit coming our way, and boy do we. Before we get into the ups and downs of Louis' escapades, Franklin does decide to have a meet with Teddy again, just to kind of get an idea of what the hell is going on. And so he does. He brings up the pricing, and Teddy's like, "Stop coming to me with these prices. Like, why are you doing this? Like, you know what the fuck this is. Like, these prices are irrelevant. The main issue is that you have made yourself the middleman in a team where you should be the point. Like, you got Louis working for you, you got this Leon working for you, and then you're coming to me. You're now the middleman, as opposed to everybody coming to you. Get your house in order. Don't come to me about prices until you get your own stuff in order." He's like, okay, cool. But the real point is, he brings up the father, and Alton sort of gets a runaround from Teddy. It's not a clear answer, but he did say that basically I had nothing to do with your death. But he could be KGB could have him. You know, he's a person of interest because he's a former Black Panther. This, and this. He comes up with like 17 different scenarios to sort of take the onus off of him. It's like he could be in jail, CIA jail. Who knows? I don't know where this man is, but I've had nothing to do with it. And Franklin takes him at his word for that moment. As we come along a little later, he tells Franklin in that moment that, hey, the drop's still going to take place, but Gustavo is going to be the one to do the drop with you. I got some other stuff that I got to line up. He's like, okay, cool. He goes to the drop and meets Gustavo there. It's in like an abandoned warehouse lot with some silos and abandoned buildings nearby. We started asking Gustavo some questions, just kind of joking, like, hey man, real quick, why are we meeting out here and this and that? Franklin is always kind of like searching. He's always looking around. He's always trying to learn to become a sponge. He didn't get to where he's at by not adapting to his surroundings. He looks around and he's like, oh crap, this is a clear spot where somebody could just be watching. He's like, I don't know the CIA stuff, but I know that they could be. And he switches focus and kind of starts joking with Gustavo and saying, "I don't worry about it. We'll get your new jacket." He knows that he's being listened to. And in that moment, he switches directions and he's like, "I got to come back here and see what the hell is going on." So he returns to the scene later and kind of goes into the warehouse and he sees that entire time Teddy had been setting him up to watch him and try to see if he could probably catch him and snare him into questioning Gustavo or questioning his merits and not being loyal, more so thing, and it incites him. He's pissed. He's pissed that he's being watched, and he does realize that he needs to get his house in order because if the man above him could do something so quickly, like this is probably responsible for my father. Like I still do believe that he killed my dad. If he can do that, he can take me out at any point in time. And I'm not trying to lose my life. I got too much shit to live for. So I need everybody else to get on my game plan because we're not playing games anymore. While he's doing that, Louis and Jerome are out here trying to set up chess pieces and pawns. So they have a meet up with Mello, who's one of crazy ass Scully's, his henchman, and they let him know that the prices, unfortunately, are going to remain the same. They're not changing. And Mello's like, well, I told him this one thing. It's going to be a problem. So he relays that message back to Scully. Scully wants to see them. And they come, and it gets tense. It gets tense. But what they notice there is that Mello seems to have that itch to kind of want to do more. He doesn't want to be under the thumb of Scully. And we're going to get a lot of people who seem to not want to be under the thumb of whomever it is that they are under. So Jerome and Louis set up this plan to kind of get more information about Mello and see what it is that he wants, how much money he's rolling with, and what his goals and aspirations are. In doing that, they recruit, as Uncle Jerome would say, thing one and thing two, the strippers that tried to kill Louis a couple seasons ago. Their mamas now, they got kids, that they're out of that stripper life. They are now kind of adults. They're past that point, but they still know ways to get around and get people to find out information about the strip club. They sort of have a moment with Louis and say, "Yo, my bad. I am glad that you were still here, and I apologize for attempting to end you." Louis doesn't really respond, nor would she. Like, bitch, you try to kill me, but the plan goes through. They get some info on Mello and see that he's definitely out of the ball, and he does want that next spot. He wants the keys to the kingdom. He wants Scully out the way. And so Mello proposes to Louis and Jerome to say, "Hey, if we take him off the board, we can get the prices the same. We can go ahead. We can make this work. But I need him off the board." And they're like, "Cool." Jerome and Louis are like, "Cool, then kill him." And they're like, "Well, he says I can't be the one to kill him because I can't. The king can't take the kingdom that he killed the predecessor for." So he's basically lobbing this up there for Jerome and Louis to do. And they're like, "All right, cool, we'll do it." He gives him the meat of what he's going to do because he's going to meet the medium who can have people talk to dead people to talk to Tiana. Then, so he goes to that place. Jerome and Louis get there before he does. So she gives the medium a couple grand to get into the spot so they can be all set up for when Scully arrives. Scully arrives and they hold him at gunpoint. And they let him know that, Mello set you up. Like, we don't want to do this. This isn't the way we want to go about this, but Mello set you up and he wants the keys to the kingdom. And then we go to black. We come back. Louis and Jerome are waiting for Mello to show up. They're eating some chips. Talking about, "You good?" "Yeah, I'm good, baby." And Mello walks in and he's ready. He's got the bag. He's like, "Yo, I don't hear nothing on the police scanner." It just sounds like, "Man, we good at this. We good at this." And I'm not gonna lie to you. The way that Jerome speaks to people, it grabs my heart. When people are like, "Hey, what's up, man?" He's like, "It's your world, nigga." Like, the way he just talks, I love it. But he comes in, Mello does his thing, and they give him a sign that Scully is dead. And so they drop the pendant that he holds around his neck in reference to Tiana. He picks it up. He starts grandiose, speaking about how I'm now, the kingdom is mine. It's almost on some Scar type stuff. This is very Lion King-ish that's happening in this episode. And as he's pontificating about what he's going to do next and how many weeks it's going to take him to get into position, the side door swings open, and Scully, who's still alive, comes out and snaps his neck and ends his power real fast. And in that, Louis, Jerome, and Scully have sort of formed a new bond to kind of continue what it is they've been doing, keep the prices the same, and Scully tells them to keep the money that they got in reference to the back and forth of setting up to kill him, and thus now letting him live. So they've sort of come up. You get this moment where you see Louis cleaning up, smiling, putting her feet on the table, like, "Yo, I did a good job." Real quick, in the middle of this, she does get a visit from the police officer who's on the take, who seems to be coked out of his mind, waiting for that extra fix to kind of keep that protection up. And she's trying to figure stuff out. So all of this does sort of give her the money to kind of put him at ease for a bit. So she has done everything possible in her reign to level things out and to make things calm on her end. Till we get to the end, she does have a meet and drop with Franklin again. And she immediately asks Franklin again, like, "Yo, did you meet with Teddy?" He's like, "Yeah, the price is the same." She's been asking Solo, "Let me talk to him." And it's again one of those things where you're not doing things right. I'm the lioness. Let me talk to him. Let me be one-on-one with him. He's like, no, that's not, know your place, basically, is what he says. And they start going at it. And it gets pretty heated. It gets pretty uncomfortable. Jerome, for the most part, is trying to stay out of it. But it gets very intense to the point where Franklin's like, "Yo, we got a dude that's watching us all the time." He starts feeling that he's like, "I don't know if this dude killed my dad, but if he did, do you want to be next? Like, let's start doing things the way he's doing. Come home so we can put all of this stuff, whatever you was doing, I'll let you do your thing. I felt bad for you because you got shot, but you're not shot no more. You're doing your thing. Come on home. We need to work together, and we need to all be under one roof." And Louis is like, "No." She likes the world that she's sort of built. She likes the world that she's building, and she's got alliances now. She doesn't want to let any of that go. She doesn't want, but she says specifically, like, "I don't want to be under the thumb of somebody who makes dumbass decisions like you." So she thinks that everything she can do is better than what Franklin can do. And they have a tit for tat. And where Franklin basically, essentially threatens them. He's like, "Yo, if you're not with me, you're against me. If you aren't falling in line, there's nothing that I will do to stop you guys from effing up what it is I'm doing." It is what it is. He doesn't so much as say, I'm gonna threaten you, but I think now, within the back of his mind, now that he has an offspring coming and he has not wife, but a girlfriend in D and a kid on the way, the ability to separate work from family is easier for him, and his goal is to set up for his family, his immediate family, and if that means sacrificing and getting rid of some loose ends in Louis and Jerome, then I think he's willing to. But it gets intense. What we see in a lot of this episode is a lot of jockeying for position. Louis thinks she is now at the same level as Franklin. A lot of the mistakes that Franklin has made in the past, Louis has been there to sort of rectify them and to get them out of them. Her being shot, Franklin was there, but on vice versa, him being shot, so forth and so on. So she feels that she is worth more than what Franklin sort of respects her for. And I always agree that Franklin has sort of been disrespectful in the way that he treats any of his people, Leon included. But I think Louis always felt the worst for it, because at the very beginning of all of this, she's the only one who actually backed up Franklin and sort of believed in this. So now she's kind of like, "I'm now at that level with you. You're gonna start showing me the damn respect that I have. Let me be at the tables. Let me be at these meetings with you." And Franklin's like, "No, this is mine. I got this." And he's not willing to let that go, and she's not willing. So they're gonna continuously butt heads. What I think is dangerous, though, is her now having Scully in her back pocket does not sit well for Franklin, and it could kind of tie in all together with the CIA sort of breathing down their neck. It's gonna get dicey and real tight here with this overlooming thing with the CIA, them jockeying for position, and then I still think that stuff we didn't put into place that the white kid dying in the valley or the number 2 pick from the Boston Celtics dying as the backdrop for nothing. all of that is also going to start coming in. Is this police is probably going to start getting tighter and tighter on this drug trade. So this is the walls are closing in, and it's now starting to crack from the inside, which is even more dangerous for Franklin in the future. But this is a really good episode. I love seeing sort of that Jerome and Louis specifically, because she's the one coming up with all these plans, that Louis is brains wise on the same level and is willing to and is able to do things to get out of jams and to put ourselves at a higher spot, like we've always seen Franklin do. So that she is on the same level as Franklin. I don't know what it's going to take for Franklin to see that and hopefully work with her to sort of get from under the thumb that is the CIA. That is the thing that everybody sort of needs to happen because Franklin is the middleman. And even if Louis and Leon all come back in and they're all home, he is still under someone's thumb. And that's what he needs to get removed from in some way or another to kind of make this happen. And I do think that's what's going to end up happening in this season. I feel like Teddy is going to get taken off the board, but when that happens, any protections that he had is gone, and that drug stuff is going to come in like goddamn like a monsoon, and it's going to be ugly. What did you guys think about this latest episode of Snowfall called Lions? Go ahead and leave your comments, thoughts, and below. If you haven't already, you can follow us on Twitter at HollywoodADI. You can hit us up on email at HollywoodAlreadyDidIt@gmail.com. We also have a podcast with the same name. There's on Google Podcasts, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, any other place podcasts. We're there. And like always, I got my ticket. You got yours.